104.7 FM. I'm Jim Diedla, host of JED in the region. And we are here at the Purdue Northwest Commercialization and Manufacturing Excellence Center. We're also streaming live in video on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube, as we do as both a broadcasting endeavor, but also as an educational endeavor, as a number of my students were just here, and we went through that again, and I got a couple that are hanging around right now. Hey, this is a special broadcast. You'll hear this at other times also on WJOB, and that's because we have a special guest at the CMAC Center right here, and that is U.S. Senator Todd Young. Senator, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, Jim. Good to be with you again.
All right, man. You're up here in Northwest Indiana. This is your territory also.
Spent a lot of time up here.
You know, why?
Well, you know, number one, it's an entirely different economy from the piece of land I used to represent in Indiana's 9th District. So that's just south of Indianapolis all the way down to the Ohio River. The economy's different up here. It's more industrial. And it's close to Chicagoland, and you got different assets up here, like Lake Michigan and the shoreline and the casinos. And so there's a lot to learn, a lot of people, a lot of community leaders to learn from. And today this is stage 2 of our kickoff of what we are calling our Fair Shot Agenda. You know, it is a collaborative effort between myself and members of our community to make sure that every Hoosier is able to achieve their version of success. And a real focus today was on career and technical education.
Now, we're here in the CMAC right here, and I think Niaz just showed you around. Let's just be straight. I mean, I just taught 10 kids right now, and are younger people than I am, in sports broadcasting, and once I asked them, I said, hey, you know, did anybody ever think of going into the trades or, you know, going into manufacturing and so forth? A lot of times kids are coming out and they're just not they just don't see that as an option. We're fighting it a lot here to fill all of these manufacturing and technical jobs. How does Fair Shot fit into that?
Well, you know, that was a big point of conversation here today. Our economy is growing quickly. You know, companies are trying to come up with creative ways to make up for labor market shortages because, as you say, there aren't enough people going into these fields. But one of the things I've learned today and in other conversations is that increasing the awareness of what manufacturing is all about in today's day and age is really important. So if you can persuade somebody that manufacturing is actually pretty cool, it's not the dusty, dirty, sort of labor-intensive work it used to be in every occasion. That's good. You can also persuade people that, look, this is a pathway to earn a lot of money. Your manufacturing jobs, you know, tend to pay more than other types of jobs. And so just increasing awareness is very important, and the soft skills matter a lot, too. I mean, this is something that
are you calling sports broadcasting a soft skill?
No, I'll say that. But the folks who go into radio and you know, have oversized personalities like you, Jim, you know, I think you're perceived to have pretty strong soft skills. Not everyone's there, all right? And so you know, this is something that you know, folks need to work on and can be learned. And so mentorship and assistance in this area is also something we talked about today. And there are a lot of folks out there, caring, good Hoosiers who want to help people achieve their version of success.
Let's get some specifics out. You're on the Health, Labor, and Pension Committee in the United States Senate. And you are going on around right now, and Senator Young is here at the CMAC talking about Fair Shot. And I'll just read this from what you have to say. Every Hoosier deserves a fair shot to succeed, regardless of your age or where you live or so forth. And you want to hear from all Hoosiers. Look forward to engaging with constituents across the state as we work to create an environment where all Hoosiers can have a fair shot. Fair shot, fair shot, fair shot. You know, what does that mean? Exactly.
Yeah, it means something slightly different. This is by design. We left a little vague because, you know, what you want for your family and for your life and for your next year and beyond is a little different than maybe what I want or my neighbor wants. And so it's important that I get around the state to all 92 counties, visit, you know, areas that, frankly, aren't used to hearing from U.S. senators often or having them listen to them. Some of our lower income areas, spending a lot of time there, visiting with, as I did today, education leaders and learning about the different challenges and opportunities and aspirations of Hoosiers, and most importantly, the barriers that I can help remove so that people can achieve their version of success. So let me get into a few specifics. One challenge that people face in today's day and age is transportation. So we're working at the federal level, do whatever we can to make sure this region has the mass transit assets that they need so that people have a fair shot of physically moving to where the jobs are. Another area is affordable housing. You know, the lack of affordable housing next to where jobs are in many places across the state of Indiana is a real barrier. Occupational licensing, sometimes, it can go a bit overboard, and that's a barrier to people achieving their version of success. Just good government is another area. So I've worked together with some other senators on legislation that could save us, nearly $90 billion just by implementing some commonsensical and already identified improvements. So there are a lot of dimensions to this, and we want to leave it vague and open-ended so that Hoosiers can help me tease out this agenda in coming years.
Let's talk about help. You're going to go see ArcelorMittal today. What are you going to tell them?
Well, I'm going to spend most of my time listening, but they, as do other steel producers, have concerns about trade. Now, I'm all for trade. 98% of the world's consumers lie outside of the United States. State of Indiana exports like $17 billion a year just to Canada and Mexico. So we know trade's important to this state. We know we've got global supply chains that help create jobs in Indiana, but at the same time, we want others to play fair. And I know what I'll be hearing from our steel producers is make sure the Chinese in particular play fair. And so I've taken that message directly to the President of the United States, and I expect I'll hear some reinforcement from them about the importance of that. But we also, of course, need to balance, for your listeners, we need to balance that with our steel consumers, because a lot of folks use steel and aluminum to build things in this state. So we're trying to get that policy right, and I'm encouraging the administration to keep both of those factors in mind.
You're also on the Commerce Committee. Tell us where you stand on the South Shore, if you think it'll ever get done on the Westlake Corridor or the double tracking.
So I do think it will get done. I can't give you a time frame. Much of this, candidly, is dependent on the data we get from the region here. They're supposed to put together data related to the number of passengers that go on the South Shore line and its capacity and some other things. And as long as that data is sound, as we expect it to be, then the state of Indiana has already done its part. I mean, but at the local level, at the regional level, at the state level, and fortuitously, President Trump put forward an infrastructure plan that basically said, look, if your state and local authorities do their part and the data is good, then we're going to add some federal money on top, which is just what we're looking for. So I'll be a strong advocate. I've worked very well with Pete Visklosky on this issue and Joe Donnelly, and together as a delegation been able to make sure that, and the governor, make sure we're all kind of rowing the same direction.
Anything else you want to tell Northwest Indiana?
Don't hesitate to contact our office. If we're ever not doing something you'd like us to do, or doing something you wouldn't like us to do, or just want to opine about an issue that's important to you or your life, a barrier or an opportunity to help you individually or your family achieve a fair shot in life, don't hesitate to get in touch. Our website is young.senate.gov.
He is a senator from the good state of Indiana, and that includes us up here in Northwest Indiana. Thanks a lot for coming in, Senator.
Hey, thanks so much, Jim.
Jim Delo, AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region.